They said thank you, 7. They said it with kindness and respect. With all due respect.
I warned everyone. I literally warned everyone. Because look at the conversation we're having right now. We're talking about we need a quarterback.
We need a wide receiver too.
We need a league quarterback. We need a guy. I tried telling everyone Ben's a top 5 guy all time, top 5 quarterback all time.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't
he can still play.
That doesn't change that he's that. Yeah.
He can still play. Let's not take this for granted. He's got a couple years left. Let's actually build an offensive line around the dude. Obviously, he's not as mobile as what he was back in the day, but if we build an offensive line and give him a defense that's not 30-second and stopping the run, we might actually be able to do some damage, given that with those surroundings, we still made the playoffs and 7 led the league in game-winning drives. Yeah, we moved off him. Pseudo forced him into retirement. Fans were saying, thank you, 7. Ran him out of town. And now we're here. And now we're here.
It's kind of messed up, bro.
It really is. Listen, you want me to put this even into more perspective here?
Heck yeah,
7's last season, more evidence of the sabotage, as if there wasn't already enough evidence out there. His offensive line, Dan Moore at left tackle.
Dan's a starter, 4-year starter in the league, man.
4th rounder at the time. Kendrick Green, starting center.
They said he had Pro Bowl caliber in Houston.
We tried him out at fullback a couple times here.
He looked good at fullback.
That just goes to tell you how much
belief we had. He bombed a couple of people in Friday Night Lights. We liked what we saw Friday Night Lights.
Kevin Dotson playing his wrong position over at left guard, should be at right guard. I washed Trey Turner. We signed for like $3 million off the scrap heap, and just like, we'll have you be our starting guy. And then Chooks over at right tackle. That's the offensive line we gave 7 for his last year.
But Chooks, we compensated Chooks. We made sure that Chooks knew that we wanted to keep him.
Obviously, that was
because Zach Banner was hurt. Remember, Banner got hurt. Banner Tuesdays, he was hurt. That's all. But we were trying.
Not a good right tackle protecting that side of the line. His receivers, Claypool, Deontay, where are they at right now? That's what we gave Big Ben, and Juju got hurt. I think we had Ray McLeod as our 3rd receiver.
Ray been snapping though. Ray been doing his thing.
That's what we gave. That's what we gave Big Ben for his last season.
Ray been looking good. Don't you do Ray like that?
And I told you the defense.
Please, man.
We had Devin Bush starting at linebacker. We were 32nd in the league in stopping the run. I mean, pass defense was average to below average as well. And we wanted to blame 7, and the people wanted to blame 7 and move off him. Matt Canada is offensive coordinator too. Don't forget that.
I thought it was Randy Fichtner the year before that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We was trying, man.
Year before that, we had Randy Fichtner. He threw for 33 touchdowns and 10 picks.
People ain't like Randy. They said it was a yes man. They said it was Ben's yes man.
Well,
so
we should have kept
him.
Well, obviously, we should have kept him.
No, people said they didn't like it. And then they also, I remember this. They said that Ben's season was because of Ben, and he had Randy Fichtner unplugged. So he couldn't even hear what Fichtner was saying. So if that was the theory and that was the premise, then it shouldn't have mattered who Matt Canada was, because 7 was that.
No, I'm
but
telling you,
that was the way
they
talked about it. I remember that. They said that, man, Fichtner's headset was unplugged, man.
I think Ben, for the first half of some of these, like he had less control of what he typically did of the offense. I mean, Batch said it. You know what I mean? Like, it's on record from, like, Dulac, Batch. They talked about how Canada had, like, serious influence over this offense. Ben couldn't do certain things like he used to be able to. And I think it was clear as day. You saw what would happen in the second half of these games when we're down.
Yeah.
Ben would start cooking. The offense would start cooking. I wonder why. So I don't even know what we were talking about there and how I got on that spiel. Yeah, the 7 takes from the fans back in the day. That's when things went too far. Those are unforgivable takes.
It just be funny, man, because it's like, I know you represent, like, fans. You know what I mean? But the chat, they be like, some of them be with you on that part, and then you got another side of them. They be like, no, they don't remember 7 like that at the end of it. They look at 7 differently. They say that he was holding back the future and that he was like the statue and all these other things, what they brought up. I know this is what you said, but that's what they were saying in the chat. I'm innocent. I'm just, reporting the news.
He couldn't move the same way that he used to.
I'm going to call y'all out. Tom J said 7 was a statue. He even put like a statue up there. That was what he said.
Get the dude a line.
Yeah.
Get the dude a line. You saw he was moving in that preseason.
I would agree. I would agree.
But then he got rocked.
Yeah.
I think it was for eight or 9 sacks in the second week of the season.
Remember, they won't helping him up.
Yeah,
That?
exactly.
They help a man up.
There you go. That's what we gave 7 for his last season. O-lineman not helping him up.
We was high. I was high. Say, yo, they really beat him up and didn't
And
even pick him up. Like,
I think he
come
was.
on, man.
I think he was legitimately hurt for most of that season.
Yeah, he was.
He was like he was dealing with something, so that hurt his mobility too. But that wasn't talked about at all.
Listen, Spice Creations, they ain't hearing none of that. Spice Creations says Ben was washed in his last year.
See, these are bad takes.
That's what Spice Creations said.
These are bad takes.
I'm just throwing it out there, bro.
I don't want to hear from these people.
Hey, Javon Curry says, bro, 7 was old and couldn't move. That's what they said. These are fans. The fan, not play. Fans are saying this, Deke. All right, these are your people. These are your homies. They saying
honestly,
this, Deke.
If you look at that last playoff game, the Chiefs game,
Yeah.
Well, I think the defense let up like 40-something points, but it was a closer game in that first half. From what I remember, there were 2 passes thrown Deontay's way that could have been taken to the house that it went right through his hands.
This is accurate. That's when we started calling him Dropson.
I mean,
but we knew that's what DJ was. He was going to give you, 90 plus catches and about 6 drops, and it was going to come at real bad times, But he was going to be productive. That was why we had the argument about when we paid him. Say.
But yeah, even with these bad 7 takes, I know these people care. As long as they're watching, they're invested in the Steelers. It's like I think that's the thing. I think that's why we can. I don't know. We could get at each other. We could say, like, I think your guys' takes are terrible. They could say it back, and it's just like it's whatever. We both love the Steelers, and we're just.
Well, I was gonna say John Wright.
We're trying to figure it all out, but those takes are wrong. Those are flat out wrong.
I was gonna say John Wright, to give you some duality.
Those negative takes on Ben are just flat out wrong.
To give you duality, John Wright says, "Bro, y'all a bunch of 7 haters."
Yep.
So
absolutely.
you can see
Fake
it, right?
fans.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So
I haven't used that phrase in a while.
You got some people with you, bro. They got some people with you, man.
Fake
Yeah.
fans.
You ain't solo. You ain't solo. Yep. So you good.
It's like
bro.
the Patriots moving off of Brady.
Yeah.
I said it at the time. I said, Patriots, you guys are idiots. He still got it. I still see the arm strength. Build a better team around him. Now, maybe they couldn't because of how much they sold out for some of the Super Bowl runs and stuff like that. Maybe they couldn't get some of those weapons. But, yeah, he still got it. And you saw what he did in Tampa when he actually had some good things around him. He had receivers, had a line. Obviously, yeah, he's now Brady. I guess he was. Was he able to? He was never as mobile as Ben to begin with. So either way, he had a line. He had good things. Had a good defense down there in Tampa Bay, and you saw what happened. I think if Ben got that, which we did have a decent draft. I think we did have better teams in 2022 and 2023 than what Ben had in 2021. I think we would have got at least double-digit wins and had better chance in the playoffs than what we did with Kenny Mason and Mitch. Absolutely. I mean, I've been on record saying that.
No, ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I think at that stage too, man, that was literally the team just deciding,
like
we
imagine
have
Ben
to start
with
moving
Pickens.
forward. But I think they were just saying we had to start moving forward. We can't keep, this slow conclusion. They were like, how much longer are we going to do this? Because now we got to figure out, are you the guy that's going to be here the next 5 years, or do we need to start planning for that guy? That was the Mason Rudolph approach, right? And I think by the time it got to them saying, we're ready to move on officially, you had already had 7 have an injury, right? The major elbow injury. You had also seen him come back, look good, but we had the 11-0 start and then the drastic decline. We all remember how that playoff game started off, regardless of how he finished it, because everybody's going to have different opinions on that. You are one of the guys that always talk about garbage time stats. Some people look at that and say, the game was over when he started putting up the numbers that he put up. It was like lipstick on the pig concept.
We got it. Here's what I'll say, though. We did get it to, I think, 10 points with 10 or 11 minutes left, and we had the ball 4th and 1.
Yeah, we did.
And we decided to punt it. I think that was an egregious mistake.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But I just think that some people still look at it like, it wasn't as smooth at the end of it. You know what I mean?
I think from what I saw, it's just like this dude still has it. You're gonna have to give him a decent offensive line though, and like you could cook with this. You could absolutely still cook with this version of Ben.
But is that a long-term thing, or is that we're still in the here right now thing? And I think that's
obviously we're still doing the here and right now thing though, even
to an
with
extent, yes, but not by
the changeover at quarterbacks.
I don't think that was the intention. When you draft Kenny, the intention wasn't for him to be gone in 3 seasons. The intention was that's supposed to be the guy for the duration, but obviously it didn't work. So then we said, all right, let's start it again with obviously Russ and Fields. We saw varying levels of success from both of them. Now we're about to see, do we stick with one of these two, or are we going a completely different direction? But like, it's not the we're just doing 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. We're trying to find the long-term answer. And that was why they moved off of 7 at the time, because they were trying to find the new long-term answer. No matter how good we thought 7 could play for another year or two, you still feel like, man, we don't have a future at that position outside of the next 3 years. And that's if he can still play well, can stay healthy, the pieces around him do what they're supposed to do. That's not long-term planning. But his legacy definitely rewarded or warranted, patience with him. Give him that extra year or two at the end of the day, because he has earned it. He has done all these things on the front side. And I just think that was where we kind of got caught in between. And when we thought the transition was going to work with the give me Kenny Pickett, let me bring in Matt Canada ahead of time, but hey, I got a young coordinator and there's some, you know what I mean? But either way, it's like you could just see how they were trying.
We made a mistake.
You know, they made mistakes.
How we did that. Yeah.
And I don't think that the mistake, it happened. Like, they're human. That just means they weren't perfect. But I see the intent behind it. And I don't think
I warned them of the mistake, though.
Well, and that's fine. It's easy to do the hindsight 2020. I got the answer to the test. But in that moment, if they would have been saying, man, what's your long-term answer outside of these next 3 years? What would the answer have been? We wouldn't have had one. So that was why they responded the way that they did. But unfortunately, we still trying to figure that out. And no different than moving on from a quarterback, which is a major change. It takes time. No different if you're switching GMs, you're switching head coaches, you're switching ownership. Whenever it's a major change, if you don't get it right, it can set you back for years. We've already went through one and we're trying to figure it out. And I think that that's the part, even from a coaching standpoint, why, once again, Mr. Rooney isn't in a hurry to ever switch off, or not ever switch off, but he's not in a hurry right now to switch off, because he's like, I know we're still dealing with the ramifications of moving from Ben when we did. And some people think that we stayed too long on that. But either way, you can see when you move off from that, it's going to have an effect, unless you get lucky like the Packers did, right? Where you find that guy, he comes in right after Brett Favre, and you end up with Rodgers. And then from Rodgers, you get to Jordan Love. It's like, that's rare. Most teams is what you seeing what happened with the Patriots right now. Or you talk about the Bills when it went from the Jim Kelly, it was like, how many quarterbacks until you find the next guy?